Okay, so this will be the final update on this subject, at least on this video. Anyway, who knows? I might have another update. In that case, I'll do a part two. But for today, so driving the car. This is almost 5:30 p.m. So I've driven the car the whole of the day. After I did the conversion from dual circuit to single circuit, and so meanwhile, before I go into the result, I would say I started it as early as 6:30 a.m. and completed it around 9 a.m. So basically it was about 2 hours work. Like I said, I've done it before, so it wasn't like a new thing to me. So okay, now the first time I drove it after the job, I wasn't really there, but I was expecting it, because it take a while for the fluid, everything to settle and whatever. Then there was a time after I did the bleeding, someone came and helped me to do the pressure, and I finished to do the bleeding on the four ways, the cylinder, master cylinder, the new cylinder I mounted, and then the union, the four-way union. So I noticed one of the pipe, I think it's from this caliper, the brake pipe from this caliper that goes to that union. It was dripping fluid. So the person that was helping me to do the pump the brake pedal has gone. So I kind of losing it a little before I now retighten it properly. So it kind of, what I meant was, I didn't just all the way tighten it, from where it was leaking. I lose it a little, so in that case, fluid came out. So you could say as if air entered. So it's possible there's a little bit air in the system. I don't know, most likely, or maybe not. So before now they tighten it, so yeah, it's expected there will be a little bit air. So I didn't do that. I didn't bleed it again on that particular. One thing about this system is once air enter, it's everywhere. So I took it for a drive. Eventually, it started to come up a little. So now, how far? Is it worse than it was before I did this conversion? No. Is it better? For me, yes. Is the improvement very significant? Not really. So what I could say is the travel, I haven't really gotten exactly what I'm looking for. The pedal still travels a little bit. I know how that GL was, so I don't know. Nobody needs to tell me no, it's wrong or that. I mean that gear. I mean, as I'm pressing the throttle, the clutch, the brake pedal, is the car is coming close to a halt. So I know exactly what I was thinking about. What made me do this? So this one, you still have to press it down, especially once the car has gained speed. It's not like you press it, come close to it. Of course, the car doesn't have ABS, so don't get me wrong. But then the GL I used didn't have ABS, so it's still there. But what I'm thinking is, it's probably one of the the problem. I don't know if I'll call it problem, because normally it might not be an issue actually. Just that me, I want to have that same experience here. It's probably because of the differences on the brake pads. Remember when I used my GM was how many years ago? At that time, the new pads in the market were the better qualities. The brake pads, if I were to be specific, it's not as if those ones were even OEM, the ones I was using then in my GM. But then, compared to what we have now, In fact, that was even what prompted me. One of the reasons why I changed the brake pads, the front brake pad recently. The rear brake pads, I think I changed them, was it last year? The front ones, I think was sometime this year. But the rear one, I actually changed it because one of them had the brake flexible pipe failed, so it started binding on that way. So it now ate up the entire pad and started doing metal to metal. So I had to change the flexible hose, change the pad. So I can't remember if I changed this side. So the front ones, I was like, there was no sign, they weren't really good, but let me just change it in case maybe it will have a better grip on the disc. So I think that could be what might be contributing to what I might that's making me not to still feel that distant. But compared to when you had the dual circuit, one thing about the dual circuit is it's supposed to be better, in terms of braking distance. But when I had my GL, the GL single circuit, I performed much better than every other 504 and 505 I was driving at that time, or I had access to drive. Those ones unfortunately have rear drum brakes, while the GL had the four-wheel disc calipers and disc and the pass. So because even L, I think I also had access to drive 504L, which had the same single circuit master cylinder, but then drum brakes at the rear. But of course the brakes were not as good as this. Their own is most of you may have to pump the brake before it becomes effective or improve the braking distance. But the GL, as you are touching it, that it's coming. So, but what I will say here is there is a change. When I was on highway today, so I press it down. Without really pushing it down, pressing it hard to come to a halt. What happened was the front end just dropped down as which I don't know. It was only once that I experienced it on this car when it had a dual circuit recently, actually. But this time, almost once I'm touching it a little bit down, though it will go close to halfway or something, the front will just drop down, which was what I was experiencing in GL. It was one of the things I loved about it. It just I really I miss that GL. The truth is this: I know it's an indication that your front suspension, your front shock absorbers are weak. So yeah, I noticed they were leaking. Remember, I replaced the rear ones. Was it last year? So I noticed the front ones were leaking, so I need to rekit them. But because the car wasn't really showing sign of total failure of the shock absorbers, when you're high speed, you'll be bouncing and the rest. Though I haven't really pressed, pushed them down, pressed the front to see if the car will bounce while it's stationary right now, for example, as the car is now. But it hasn't really shown me on this while in motion that the front shock absorber. But now this single circuit is now showing, so meaning that it's actually more effective. Yes, unlike before, the dual circuit wasn't doing that, and yet the braking distance is as if it was better than at that time. So now this one has doing so, but the only thing I could still tell, remember, it doesn't have ABS. So this particular way, when I try to press it very hard to bring it to this one, usually will lock up. So the tire will start screeching. This particular one on the front right, it will lock up than this. What I will say, remember I said that the one part of the union, the part that goes in, was leaking hydraulic, so I now had to release it. I had to release it and then lock it back. Now I tighten it well. and the one, it was actually from this wheel, the front left. That's the pipe that comes from the front left that was leaked, having that leaking, which has now stopped. So I don't know if because there is more air in that on that way that's making this one to lock up first before this. Of course, I wasn't expecting that it will behave like an ABS car. So it's unexpected, but then the experience I can actually. So it's possible that two things, that I might still have air on the system. So in that case, I may not need to build on the calipers anymore. I'll probably just build in the front, you see, just on that this thing. Then the brake pattern, basically, there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, which one are you buying? Like, it's not like I have. You used to buy Bendis, remember Bendis, especially for the rear. But now, where will you find Bendis brand? So that's the problem. So it's possible that it's the quality of the pad, because I experienced it on my 406 and my 607. In my 406, I remember there was a time the brake pad, when I first got the car to Kumbo, the brake pads front one failed, so I bought just normal new brake pads and put. The braking distance became horrible with the car. I mean, it was that bad. It was that bad. I mean, if I was that, I remember that driving, I would keep distance very far, But as soon as I started using OEM, I mean, it became much better even before I did this conversion to Brembo. So then my 607 as well. When I got the car, the pads, they're supposed to have a TRW brake pads, which is the OEM. But the pad there was, I don't even know the brand there. So it was just, it was a mess. So the car braking distance was, I mean, you brake the car here, it goes very far. Before, you're expecting it to stop shorter than it should, but it goes fast. So as soon as I switched to the OEM brake pads, it became very effective. So that's why I'm saying it could also be what I'm having issue with. So it's possible there's nothing wrong with the brakes. It's just that the pad I'm using cannot serve that purpose that I was experiencing when I was using my GL. So doesn't mean this car cannot, the brake is very bad. No, I'm just telling you that I'm looking for something else aside the normal brakes the 505 has. So now, was it worth it? Well, let's look at how much I spent. I bought the new single circuit master cylinder, 15,000 naira. Now the reservoir, bought it 5,000 naira, that makes it 20,000 everything. Then the brake pipe, one, let's just say remember I bought 3, I only needed 1. So let's work with what I purchased that only worked on the car. So because other ones were just like to keep them as spare. So I won't actually include them as the part of project. No project. We could say that, but let's focus on what I spent or what I used for the project. So brake pipe 1,000. That makes it 21,000 naira. Then now the the four-way union, that was 1,500 naira. Remember I bought 2, so I just kept for 2. So the second one I spare for future, who knows. Remember I say I have plans for either 5GL or 505. So what else? I already had the hydraulic at home, so I didn't need to buy another hydraulic. So even if I had to buy, I don't even know the current price, 5,000 naira maybe, but I didn't spend money on that. Then transportation, I kind of spent some money on transportation because all these parts didn't come from one seller. So, but I could say, let's assume, because some of these, okay, let's just say I spent maybe 25,000 naira. Some of the ones, the things I purchased, sourcing for these things, not necessarily that I needed to go. I just wanted to have additional parts, even though I didn't need them, so that I know if I'm starting the conversion, I don't have to, in the process, to say, oh, this one he said to me was not bad. Remember, it's only one part that was new in the whole kit that came. Only one part, which is the master cylinder. Every other parts were used parts. So meaning that I have to be careful. I don't want to rely. I didn't need to rely on that they will start that papers, or they might work until you mount or start to fix them. Then you see. So everything like 25,000. So but if I start adding those ones I did not, I just purchased extra. Probably you are looking at about 30 something thousand, 35. Okay, let's just say approximately 40,000, but I'm not sure it was up to that. They will come. But what I actually used cost me 25,000 naira, including transport, approximately. So was it worth it? Yes, it was. I mean, I've ruled it out now. That there's nothing to do with the reason why the brake is not that effective as I would want it. Yes. So will I switch back to the dual circuit? No, I don't think so. I will keep the kit for the dual circuit. I mean, not throwing it away. It's there. I can always swap back if anytime I want to. So because that one is still in good condition, nothing wrong with it. Which one will I choose if I had the option? If let's assume the car doesn't have anything or any of the master cylinder on the vehicle, and I'm given the option to choose one to mount, I'll still choose this single, even after experiencing this. One thing with this single circuit is this: almost all the ways react at the same time. All of them react at the same time. Even if that particular one, the brake pad is not good enough, or there is air on that system, or this or that, every of the four wheels react at the same time you are pressing the pedal, almost at the same time. The dual circuit on maybe a newer Peugeot car, remember they have other electronic system that assist the brake master cylinder on this modern car. So it will make them, even though they are dual circuit, make them more effective, to respond as well. But this one is basically, aside the brake booster, every other thing is mechanical. So I still like this one, but then the disadvantage of this single circuit is if there is any loss of pressure on your brake system, what I mean is on the brake line, on your master cylinder. In other words, if there's a leakage of any form, not small leak, and total leak, like something, a brake pipe breaks or cut and started leaking, flowing badly, I mean, it will be a total disaster, because that dual circuit will help if there's a leakage on the front hub, front caliper, or the front Facebook hose, the front pipe. The rear one will still work. Yeah, of course, the braking distance will not be as good as it's supposed to be. You might still have the accident, have the impact, collision, whatever, but you'll still be able to reduce the car speed to some extent, because either the rear ones will work or the front ones will work. But in this case, once there's a leak on anything, the four wheels will not work. So that's how it is. So, but I'm not scared, guys. I used the GF for years. I only had a brake system failure once. One of the pipe, I think it was even the master cylinder, not the brake pipe, broke. Well, the master cylinder just failed. It stopped. It wasn't pumping anymore. So so I was able to. The handbrake wasn't even working. I just used the engine brake to stop the car. So that's what I'm saying. With the experience, I'm not really scared about this. I just want to. So as I'm using it, it might keep improving. Remember, I just use it for 3 kilometers, about 20 kilometers today so far. So yeah, that is it. Will I encourage other people to do that? I mean, it's up to you. But I would say if you have a drum brake at the rear, there's no point. I don't think there's any need for you to do that. You only enjoy this when you have a caliper and disc at the back. That's my own opinion. Unless maybe you have a different this thing. So hold on. Video. Hold on. So unless you have different experience with that, but I wouldn't bother. If I well, who knows? Maybe it will still serve the same way, even with rear drum brake system. But for me, I already do that with the brake calipers and the disc and pass on the 4 wheels. But at least it's an option. The good thing is, those of us that drive 504, 505, you have this option. In case maybe tomorrow you start looking for your dual circuit brake caliper, no, brake master cylinder fails, you are looking for another one to replace it if you can't find it. If you can get the single circuit one, why not? You see, you could see how I did the conversion. You just keep using your car. So that option is there. Unlike the modern ones where it has to be exactly what you are removing. You have to find that exact model. Or I don't know, probably you could find another one that could fit in. But then, so yeah, I will keep this one. I will leave it there. Maybe I'll make a tile again to bleed. Probably only the front. I'm talking about the front, not necessarily the calipers. Those are pipes, brake pipes on the caliper, on the cylinder, master cylinder or the union. So that was it, and I hope people learn from this and apply it in future. So those are the things I enjoy about having 504 or 505. This knowledge, skills I have, this can help me put them in use. I gathered this knowledge and skills a long time ago. So I'm happy that I've been able to put that into practice. I really enjoy working on this car, honestly. I did it all by myself, apart from the person that came to help me to push the brake. So okay, so till another video. If I have any other need for update or something else I omitted or missed to talk about, maybe I'll do a second part or another part of the video. Okay, so till another time.